We would like to see most of the human race killed off because it is unworthy. It is unworthy of the gift of life.
I don't care what society thinks. They're nothing anyway. They're no better than me.
Until we hear the safe word, we will not stop.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to see a person's head amputated? Think of things so horrible that the human mind cannot imagine them. See all this and more when you see on stage, in person, that crazy mix-up.
I like being set apart from people. I like to be hated.
Safe Word with Jason Rouse.
My shit is on your lips. My shit is on your Are you notifying a loved one?
No, just buying weed.
Oh.
Just finding weed.
I thought you're saying, Mom,
Austin.
Dad, if you don't hear from me in about an hour, I'm out of here. Can you hear in these headphones?
Where's the headphones?
Oh, here, this is it. My mistake.
It's all good.
I get it. It is a little quiet for me.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Check. Can you hear?
I can hear myself, but you're not talking into the mic. So
I can hear myself too.
Yeah.
But I should be a little louder.
I think this one, mine should be louder. I think that one I hear pretty good.
And you
This-
are number...
I think 2, but I don't know. Try 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. It might be the ones. Yeah. Check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
There we go. My sound engineer quit today.
Oh shit!
I usually have a squirrel here that works for nuts. Hormoz Rashidi on the show today. First time in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
I was, I know that people that haven't been here before are going to have a hard time. The first few days in Austin are really, you get a different, you get the Austin jet lag, which is like stacked hangovers.
Yeah, I'm already jet lagged because I came straight from the Philippines. I spent like a couple nights in LA and then came over here. So I'm hella jet lag already. And then
You got drunk.
the amount people in Austin drink is fucking nuts.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I almost had a third, drinking culture cycles through different cities. It has its good years and its bad years.
Yeah.
And there is no shortage of places to get fucking trashed. In fact, they like to have the safety of the alcoholics, so they shut down the street 3 nights a week so that people can run across the road.
And just drink on the streets?
Yeah, just drink on the streets.
That's like New Orleans, but half the week.
Yeah, without the humidity, too.
Yeah.
So, fuck, I haven't seen you in 3.5 years, I don't think.
Yeah, something like that.
You've finally unblocked me on MySpace, and I'm back.
Yeah, I mean,
back in your
I
good
forgot
graces.
honestly, I forgot my MySpace password, so I'd been meaning to unblock you for longer than that, but it's great to be back, and I'm glad to be one of your top 4 friends. That feels good that you ranked me so high.
You, Don Rickles, and Carrot Top, So-
and then Tom,
and then Tom.
and then there's still Tom.
Yeah, this is completely a generational conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, what is this MySpace?
What's MySpace?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
It's how Dane Cook became popular.
It's interesting how, if there's anything that COVID taught us was that the internet is always wins.
Yeah.
And the amount of comedians' careers that had spiraled out of just having an online presence, whether it be a weekly a lot of guys were doing 3-4 podcasts
Yeah.
and 0 stand up. It was a weird thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of podcasts started popping up.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You've never, because you were doing something at the store, weren't you? Well, let's
me-
tell people who you are first. We met in Los Angeles.
A decade ago.
Yeah, at least a decade ago,
Yeah.
and I thought it was only a 5 to 6 year period. But you just explained to me that you'd been working at the Comedy Store.
Worked there for 9 years.
9
Yeah.
years. And if anybody who's been on stuff as a door guy knows that it is, it's like David Goggins' comedy training camp. Like it
Yeah.
is, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
Certain kind of person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a wild place. Yeah. It's like, Welcome to the Jungle. I feel like it's that. It's like, it's very fun, but also there's some darkness there.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's just on the sidewalk outside of the club.
Yeah.
The club's generally a fun place to be,
Yeah.
right? All kinds of, everyone's there on their kind of clown behavior.
But if you've got demons, they'll come out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Toby would shut down the bar when we'd show up sometimes. He'd close that steel door and goes, "Now, you guys, we don't want any trouble tonight." He'd check his pulse with his fingers on his throat. And he'd go, "Nope." And then he'd stay at the door and everyone's up there waiting for long and say, "What do you guys do? We just got here." Yeah, we'd come up thick. It was a good time. But, yeah, that's around the time I started spending time and got to know... probably out of 60 people, I became friends with probably about 6. So every 10 person that came through there,
Yeah. That seems like
I
a
had
good ratio,
relationship.
though.
No, it was pretty good.
That's pretty high.
I know. I was very
Yeah.
lucky. There's some people that I couldn't stand, but there was enough rejects and outcasts,
Yeah.
even on their worst days, like Boom.
Boon Chakalaka.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
dead.
I assume.
See, you can't assume.
Dog.
If I was on the internet and people just said, "Well, he must be dead,"
No, but-
maybe he got his shit together.
But Doug, okay, Doug, you could be anywhere in the world. If people haven't seen Jason Rouse, maybe he's in Stockholm.
Sure.
Maybe he's in Australia. Like, who knows? You go all over the world.
Walkabout.
You're a walkabout. You could be
Crocodile
anywhere.
Dundee,
Maybe you're like doing an Ari Shafir where you're off the grid for a little while.
banging
But Boon
kids in Thailand.
Chakalaka, once the store reopened, he hadn't come back, and there's no way Boone wouldn't come back to the store. He would have at least come back for a week.
Do you want
know?
to explain old Tina Turner?
So Boone Chakalaka was this, I think, transvestite because he dressed like a woman.
Ahead of his time.
But I don't think he believed he was a woman. I think he just liked dressing like a woman.
Yeah.
It's hard to assume anything.
Yeah.
But that's what I assume. And he was a gay man who was a transvestite at the store. I think he was homeless, but some people say he had a house or an apartment in the valley, but it was like far, and so he would sometimes sleep on the streets. He supplied clothing to all the comics
Records,
in LA.
t-shirts.
Records, t-shirts, but mostly t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like almost all my t-shirt collection.
Oh, yeah.
And I have some expensive ass
Everybody
really
would follow
good
up
t-shirts.
with, sometimes he's got good stuff.
Great stuff.
He had Bill Cosby records one day. We were dying.
Stephen Fury bought a Garth Brooks tour shirt off him that runs $300 on
Yeah.
the internet now. Like
Yeah.
it's literally from the No Fences biggest Garth Brooks era concert, and you can't buy that shit for less than $300 right now.
Do you think that Mel Brooks' merchandise has gone up in value because of the murders?
Mel Brooks?
Or
Who murdered somebody?
Garth Brooks.
Oh, Garth Brooks. Yeah. When you said Mel Brooks,
Sorry.
I was like, oh shit, Mel Brooks is murdering people? No, definitely. I think the fact that Garth Brooks is a stone cold killer,
Yeah.
and has murdered numerous fucking people.
Every city
he's gone to, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he pretends. Oh no, it was Chris Gaines or some shit. It's like, come on, dog. You're a serial killer, and one day justice will be sought.
It's totally Norman Bates-esque.
Yeah.
Mother?
Yeah.
Yes, Daddy?
Yeah.
You know how that
Yeah.
goes. There's always a voice upstairs. You know you're talking outside of your mouth, you fucking weirdo. Garth has definitely done the, should I take the skin of the children, Papa?
Yeah. Definitely.
Terrible. I've seen people, I saw a lady, it's in my story somewhere on my Instagram, but I remember distinctly a lady sitting dead center of the entrance of the patio, right on Sunset Boulevard, smoking crack in a pipe, sitting on a piece of cardboard, and politely offering it to people in line.
So funny.
And people walking around. What's
Yeah.
the hotel next door where the
Ondas?
the white one, the party rock and roll hotel?
The Standard?
No.
The one that's got a big door in front of it, that one?
No, the one right beside the parking lot at the store.
The Ondas.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The Ondas. I saw a
The
guy
one that Steve Lebedkin jumped off of and killed himself?
exactly
Yeah.
that one. I saw a guy getting socked off, sitting on that white ledge in front of there
Wow.
on a Saturday night, packed.
Damn. And that guy? Daniel Tosh.
It was Garth Brooks.
It was Garth Brooks.
He had a gun to the guy's head.
Yeah.
It says, "Finish."
The funniest is being Garth Brooks, and anything you post, you know, you're gonna get it from the people who are upset that you haven't been caught for your murders. You know,
And the fact that the people that are weighing in on this, they created a tribe of monsters. Like a lot of the people that are going in on the Garth Brooks murders, they're nice people. They
Yeah.
have family. These are
Yeah.
these are not maniacs.
No.
But now they've got issues.
yeah,
That'd be wild. But you know, if anything, over the last couple of years, we've learned is that anything can happen out there. I don't know if you've been watching the news lately. I had to go to the Canadian news just to get a night's sleep.
There's a serial killer in LA. My girl gets like the Citizen app updates about shit.
It gives me
There's
anxiety.
a serial killer in LA that's just going around killing homeless people. And
But that happens all the time.
and I think his name is Mayor Caruso. He was running for mayor.
Mayor Caruso.
No,
Is
he
it
lost.
actually-
He lost, but his like the guy who something Caruso was running for mayor, and his platform was basically like, "I'm going to end homelessness." And it's like, how are you going to do that
with a hammer,
with a hammer? Yeah, one at a time.
a nail gun, and a can of gasoline. No, if anybody has the confidence to go down to Los Angeles to tango with the homeless, good luck.
Good luck, dog.
Good fucking luck. That
Yeah.
might want to be one of the most terrifying places in the world is downtown Los Angeles.
The world, I don't know.
I felt
'Cause-
more
'cause-
confident. I've been to the murder capital in the Hillbrow in Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they still hold that title, but for a long time, murder capital of the world.
Really, South Africa.
Yeah, in Hillbrow in Johannesburg, murders. I felt more relaxed there than I did getting off a delayed bus from Las Vegas to downtown Los Angeles, and getting out after the fucking idiot I was. I flew out there in a wedding to figure I'll catch the bus home from Las Vegas to Toronto. Not to Toronto, to fucking Los Angeles to Vegas.
So you took the Greyhound.
Yeah.
And then you got off at the Greyhound station in downtown LA.
About 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's Greyhound stations are literally just filled with criminals who just got out of jail.
Yeah.
And they get a Greyhound ticket to go. So it's literally
Terrifying.
a terrifying place to be at. Yeah.
It is a late night Star Wars bar
Right.
evening, but you know, when I had left, there was a good 2-3 years there where directly across from the store you'd have the open view of the city.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
When they tore down the House of Blues
Yeah.
and still hadn't built the Pendry.
Yeah.
Now it's just
a flat screen.
huge
Yeah.
flat screen. And sometimes you'll see people fucking in their hotel rooms in the Pendry. Yeah, When I worked as a door guy, we would sometimes be like, "Hey, look, those guys are fucking in third
Yeah.
floor, third one to the right," and they're doing it on purpose. They're all voyeurs who are like, "Yeah, we're fucking in front of sunset," and it's like, "Yeah,
If they could see the faces of the guys that were watching them, they would close the curtains. Ew.
yeah." They're like, "Oh, look at that guy Guam down there."
Cover yourself, you filthy animals.
Yeah.
No, if there's anything that I know that in the U.S. you guys really enjoy watching each other fuck from a window in a building.
Yeah,
It's
it's not a thing in Canada. You guys don't enjoy that in Canada?
It's too cold. We're worried about getting stuck to a piece of glass when you're trying to finish off.
Yeah.
No, we just have sex. The only reason that there's actually a population growing in the country is people who end up having sex. You know how many babies were born over COVID, or women that were impregnated.
Yeah.
So people just stay indoors and just fuck to stay warm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. If you were having sex 9 months from December,
September, August.
yeah, a lot of babies are born in late September.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When's your birthday?
April
April what?
4th.
Could have been a fool's baby.
So yeah, so that's what's 9 months before that? What's 5 months?
We got some heavy
That's
graduates
like
here.
fall. My parents were fucking in fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where were they fucking?
Iran.
Oh,
Tehran.
nice.
Yeah,
And what year was this? 87?
I was born in 82.
82.
So they were fucking in 81.
What was going on in Iran in 1981?
The revolution happened in 79. So it was just an Islamic republic. It probably was taboo to fuck too much. And they were like,
They're both
take this
Iranian.
Ayatollah. Yeah.
How old were they when they met?
When they met, I think my mom was like 19 and my dad was like 29, 30.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that was like?
Yeah, it's got to be weird.
It's got to be weird.
It's got to be weird.
And
like,
they moved to, were they married in Iran or?
married in Iran.
Yeah.
They got married.
Was it their plan to kind of?
In the 70s, they got
Yeah.
married. So they probably got married maybe late 60s, very early 70s. I was the last kid, so they had 3 other kids before me. Yeah.
How's that feel?
Good.
Yeah.
It feels
They're
good.
too tired to
Yeah.
be proper parents.
Yeah.
The time
And
they
I
get to you.
learned-
Good luck.
Yeah, and I learned what my siblings did to get away with shit and what they did that didn't work.
Yep.
And by the time it got to me, it was
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had
if
all
you
the
just
tricks.
keep your mouth shut as the youngest,
yeah.
dude,
You can get away with anything.
Wired.
Yeah.
I got a fucking car. What?
What was that sound?
That was my Bluetooth dropping
All
out.
right.
Did you get high before you came here?
No.
No, that's right. You're still from flying from.
LA. I didn't bring any weed from LA. I was like, Texas, don't fuck with
No.
don't fuck with weed in Texas.
Do
like that.
not fuck with. Everybody knows don't
Yeah.
mess with Texas.
Yeah.
And you came off the back of a. What was your stopover? Not from in the U.S.
Oh, but from the Philippines.
Yeah.
We flew to Taiwan, and then from Taiwan to so we flew Philippines to Taiwan, Taiwan to LAX.
Taiwan to LAX is 12 hours.
It was like 11 and a half coming back.
Yeah.
But going to Taiwan initially was like 14 and a half. Because the jet stream, when you go against the jet stream, everything's slower.
What airline?
EVA Air. It's like the biggest airline in Taiwan.
Good airline food.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
United Emirates.
Oh, I've heard that's the best.
I was insane. I thought
I've
it was
heard
in
there's a
first class.
shower.
I thought I got in the wrong seat.
Yeah, I've heard there. It's like it's literally
It's
next
like being a
level.
Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah,
And then again, I asked for seconds.
yeah,
Yeah. They said all we have is vegetarian. I go, I bet you that's fucking great too.
yeah.
And I had it. My mouth was watering thinking about it. I love a good fucking when a dish that's just top to bottom, everything's on point.
Yeah.
Everything's cooked properly.
And on an
simple.
airline,
Yeah.
you don't expect that shit.
Not at all.
EVA Air wasn't that good. It was pretty good, but they did have another option where you could pay $50 extra and get a Michelin star meal. And I was like, I don't know if I trust it. I don't know if I'm trying to spend that kind of money. So we didn't do it, but it would have been interesting to try.
No, I always try and squirrel away some nuts and dried fruit or something because the fact that I don't know about you, but sitting and eating bad food on top of it for more than
Makes you
like
feel like
6,
shit.
7,
Yeah.
8 hours, now you're like fucking got some rank
Yeah.
puke in your
Yeah.
guts, and you got I can definitely ruin a trip.
Yeah.
My trip to Tijuana or Mexico City to do shows, I got diarrhea as soon as my feet touched the tarmac.
Really?
It was insane. And I'd keep the door open while it came out and make them watch. I go, you did this to me. 4 days in Mexico with my au jus beef dip ass. It couldn't have been more water.
I didn't. Did you drink water there? Did you drink the water?
I walked through the whole thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
What was it?
I don't know. I really distinctly.
I ate street tacos.
I did. Once I
ate
got
shit
diarrhea, I
everywhere.
was like.
I only drank bottled waters and like sodas while I was there because I was like, I'm not letting.
But once you go to street food,
But
you're fucked.
I did eat street food and I didn't get diarrhea.
Really?
Yeah.
I was blown away, and there was. It took 4 days for it to subside, and it really went from like healthy, completely great dumps
Yeah.
to complete water.
Yeah.
Hot
Oh,
Coca-Cola.
that's the worst. That's the worst.
I was beside myself, and up until that point, I was looking around the city. Go, this is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it really
The
is.
pollution was next level.
Next level.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
There was a hole in the floor of the
the
cab.
weed is garbage.
garbage. Yeah,
But you can buy it in the open. From which is pretty wild. I went to that park when I went, and I bought a bunch of weed and took it back and then start breaking it down, and it's just mostly seeds.
Yeah.
Just start falling I'm like,
Bushweed.
throwing away the seeds, and then we tried to smoke it, and it tasted so bad that we had to go find blunt wraps. We had to go find tobacco. to
double
roll
down
it.
on something.
We were like, the tobacco will at least taste better.
Yeah,
So we just rolled a bunch of blunts out of it.
it's beautiful place. The artwork
It is.
but yeah,
I love the trees everywhere. Like
Yeah.
for a city to have that many
Gardens.
trees everywhere. Yeah.
It's
really
nice.
nice.
I like to go back.
The people were so nice. The food was incredible. But I didn't get diarrhea. If I'd gotten diarrhea, I might have a different experience.
I was going, how much is it? Because I was asking what they were paying for their apartments there.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, I'm like, fuck. You know, December for me is a ghost town. Everyone's religious and family oriented. And the last thing is they want to see is me fist fuck an old lady on stage to bring the Christmas spirit home.
Right. That's not part of the nativity scene.
No, and being in Los Angeles, I'm like, why not go live in Mexico City for a month?
Yeah.
And the diarrhea. And then they cut
The
all
pollution, dude. My
Yeah.
throat was killing
Yeah.
me when I left.
Yeah. I bought cigarettes. They were like 20 cents a pack or something.
Wild.
And it was like smoking cedar shingles. It was brutal. It was brutal. But I'd definitely like to go back. Do you have you ever done any stand-up in Iran?
No.
A lot of
I haven't
Irani-
been to Iran since I was like 2 years old.
A lot of...
And I don't feel comfortable I don't think I would be able to go back.
No way?
Yeah, no. Like they take American and like Iranian
Traitors?
Americans. They take Iranian Americans and like torture them and stuff and accuse them of being spies and shit when they've done nothing.
Fuckers.
I've written articles about their human rights violations and stuff, so they'll for sure fuck with me. So I can't go back.
Does that suck? That sucks for
Oh, it
an
sucks,
outsider.
yeah.
It fucks for me too
No,
because
it sucks. My dad died there. I'd love to go see his gravesite.
no shit.
Yeah.
That totally licks.
Yeah,
There's a lot
it's a
of
bummer.
every time I see something go sour in the world, I'm like, well, I'd like to go see that place. I guess that's off the list now.
Yeah,
Because the whole plan was spend as long as it would take for me in this business to visit a different country every year. I've been doing comedy, so I'm too behind, and I'm kind of running out of places. And I'm staring past you at the map on the wall behind you, but very few places that are English as a first language outside of Australia and.
English is a first. So you're trying to go to everywhere that speaks English as a first language.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Second language. I'll go,
Like somewhere like South Africa, where they
I've
speak
been-
Afrikaan.
Yeah. I've been to South Africa
Yeah.
like 6 times. That wasn't their English
What about New
is on
Zealand?
point.
New Zealand, they speak English, right?
Yeah, for sure. Most of the
Jamaica,
world
you've been to
does.
Jamaica?
No, I'd like to go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Fuck, I love Jamaican food.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. That was
Jamaica,
one of the
and
best
that's not
part
far.
in Toronto. But that was the thing, is because I grew up in a city neighboring Toronto,
Right, which is a
I
lot
could
of
get
Jamaicans, yeah.
off the boat food that
Yeah.
you've never like authentically
Yeah.
Greek. You know, it just everything.
Yeah. I've heard Toronto's sick. I've heard Toronto's a great city.
You look like you're from Toronto.
Really?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
look like a Toronto guy for sure.
Right, just like racially ambiguous,
You look
into hip hop.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I auditioned for the Degrassi show with him.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
You on Degrassi?
Yeah, I was just
That's so funny.
a one part thing. It was a drug dealer at a high school,
Oh, that seems good. That
was
seems
a
like a good
reboot.
role for you.
and unfortunately, I didn't get it. I lost a few roles. I lost a Ninja Turtles role because of my braces I had in my early 30s.
Really?
But there was a couple, because I never really went out. I went on a couple of commercial auditions, and but I never knew you of a like you lived in Hollywood, but you weren't really trying to get into the movies or commercials, were you?
No, I mean I had a few auditions here and there. I still have a commercial agent, but I don't go out that much. I've booked one commercial since I was out there. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like I really just want to do stand up, but if there's opportunities to do stuff that makes money and might
Like Earl
you know.
Skakel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll voice your cartoon.
If you could do voiceover work, seems like the best deal.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
You get a fucking Simpsons gig.
Yeah.
You can have your
You're set for
family
life.
killed.
Yeah.
You can have so
Yeah.
much money.
Yeah.
You could raise your father from the dead.
Yeah. You got enough.
with
Yeah.
Simpsons movie, Simpsons money.
Yeah.
No, it's but you were always doing some sketches and stuff. Didn't you guys have a series on YouTube?
Yeah.
And
I've done like sketch series with my friends.
Yeah.
We did one called Apartment 9, like
yeah, I remember
was like
that
a decade ago. And
with Abby and
was
it somebody
Alex
sleeping on a
Phillips.
yoga mat?
yeah,
Was one of the gags.
that was
if I
me.
remember.
That was me. I mean, I slept on the couch when I slept on their couch.
Yeah.
So then the joke was that I slept on a yoga mat.
Was Ari Manis part of that group?
No, he wasn't in that Apartment 9 sketch. It was like me, Abby Roberge, Alex Phillips, and Adam Chudwin.
Yeah.
The four of us, and then we had like Chris Burns and some other people who would like have cameos in it. But me and Ari Manis had a sketch group that we called Indoor Soccer Shoes.
Yeah.
And we just made wild sketches.
Ari is a very he's one of those
He's
guys.
so funny. I love Ari.
Him and Abby went to the Scientology building
Yeah.
and got pictures
Yeah.
in the group shot for their annual flyer.
They got into
Yeah.
the magazine that's like a big deal to Scientologists.
No pun intended here, but who doesn't want Ari Manis and Abby in a cult?
Yeah.
Because I know Abby was in a cult.
Yeah.
They look clean and full
they
of
would
hope.
just show up and start talking to people. And sometimes they would order a bunch
The
of
false
Domino's
sense
pizza.
of confidence.
And they would just bring Domino's pizza around
Yeah.
and be handing it off to the people who
Yeah.
worked there, and the people just loved them.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
one day they said they were hanging out, and like a person of authority came up to them and said, "Hey, who are you guys?" And they said, "Are you guys here for the photo shoot?" And they just
Are we
said,
late?
Yes,
Yes.
we are actually.
Can you imagine?
And then
Ari
they just
Manis?
took them
Yeah.
into the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're taking
Yeah.
pictures with the people who like earned being in
Yeah.
the photo shoot. And they said some of their friends they'd made
That's
were
better
so
than
jealous.
any family photo. That's way better
Yeah,
than any
way
family
better.
photo.
Dude, Abby and Ari are so funny together because they're pranksters too.
They're the Fairley Brothers of the Comedy Store.
Yeah. I remember at Flappers once, they did a prank
It's
where
not a
they
strip club, by the way. Flappers.
Flappers is this shitty comedy club in Burbank, right? It's like
I'm glad you got to it.
yeah,
I've never performed there myself.
I've done a few shows at the Yoo-Hoo Room here and there,
Yeah.
but, and it's fun. I mean, like whatever, it's another
Yeah.
show. But so what they did was they did a prank where they put a thing on Craigslist saying, we're a pretty big band, we're about to go to Bonnaroo, and we're looking for a new guitar player.
Yeah.
And then they said our auditions are going to be at the Flappers open mic. The people who sign up for the first time at Flappers,
Bonnaroo's a huge music festival.
Huge music festival in Tennessee. And at Flappers,
any musician in Hollywood would kill to perform at a festival like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you might be in this new big band. Like they're like, it might be your big break. And at Flappers, if you're one of the first time signups, you go up first. So they told them sign up as a first time sign up because they've never signed up for the Flappers open mic before. So they sign up with their name at the first time, and they said don't do any words, just go up and start playing your song. So they said,
is there footage of this?
No, I don't think so.
Oh man!
But they just saw guitarist after guitarist go up and just play a song and then walk off.
Yeah.
And then finally the people at Flappers went up and were like, look, I don't know what you guys have heard.
That's amazing.
It's so fucked up.
Can you imagine? That is like you just get to LA and you're like, I got an audition,
Ma, I'm going to be in Bonnaroo. And some of these guys they said were good. Like they were really good.
That's the beautiful part about LA is that you'll always find somebody willing to sell their soul.
Yeah.
They will line up for it.
Yeah, they're like, this is my break.
It's wild. There's a lot of people that put. I knew that living in Los Angeles was going to be a long game because there was 9 years working at the store.
Yeah.
Not just staff, but just like you must have been able to get a read on people after a while of just like probably judgmental to a certain degree where you have to separate yourself from some of the madness.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian from so-and-so and I'm going to boom, boom. And
yeah. I got pretty good. I think like one of my talents is walking away to go pee.
I got to go take a piss.
Oh, nice to meet you. I got to go pee.
Yeah.
People probably thought I had the smallest bladder in the world because I was just constantly leaving.
Well, you're being roped into cocaine conversations all the time.
Oh, my God.
Because you were always really friendly with people. Now those people take license. Now they're all gacked up and they're like,
But there's some guys. It's so fun to make fun of those guys because people on cocaine are loud and annoying, but also very sensitive.
Yeah,
like cocaine makes you like self-conscious. So then you start making fun of them, and then they start freaking out because they're on cocaine. Ruins their night. Yeah, and so that makes those guys not want to talk to me as much too.
Yeah, there was no shortage of drug-fueled entertainment.
Or it's like if somebody would be coked out and they'd just be like telling the most boring story, right?
On and on.
And then I would go, oh, whoa, hey, hold that thought. Hey, you guys get over here. He's got the best story. Tell him that part about how you waited at the open mic. Tell him. And then they'd be like, they would realize you're making fun of them, and then they'd start getting quiet and into their own head, and it's like, oh, he had the best story about waiting at this open mic. How long did you wait? You waited all day, huh? Tell him. And then people would gather around and just be laughing at them for telling the worst stories, and they'd be like, oh yeah, don't talk to Hormoz when you're on coke.
And now they're all like this. Just like they don't know what their relationship is.
One guy, I remember this specifically, I forget his name, but one guy was coked out and he started telling me about how he has his realtor license. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like,
it's weird.
He's like, you know how the realtor license, it's designed for people who are right-handed, but I took it left-handed. And I go, whoa. And I go, you guys get over here. Everybody knows that the realtor license is designed for people with who are right-handed, right? You know that, I know that, that's a known thing. This guy passed it. He's left-handed, dog. And he's like, obviously we're making funny. It's like, what do you mean it's for left-handed, right-handed people? What do you mean? That's fucking dumb.
Oh, I remember there's a couple of people because look, working at that place, you guys have your own language. It's like communicating through a prison.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good analogy.
And like, Don Barris is going to do some fucked up shit, and he's going to have about 3 or 4 other people that are willing to go along wherever he goes. How many screaming? I don't know. I've seen male on male oral sex in the hallway.
Yeah, I don't think Don was responsible for that, but I have seen that too. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, that was some wild shit. Like, just literally in the little pathway between the front bar and the back door. Dude getting his dick sucked by another dude. Yeah. I think that was on Halloween one night. I think, but they were neither guy. I think
I
was
wasn't even
dressed
talking
up.
about that.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. You're talking about a different one. Yeah.
It was Halloween, and they weren't even dressed up.
No, they're
Oh no! Oh my God!
It's like, dude.
Oh boo!
They're like, we're dressed up as guys who like getting their dick sucked.
There was a lot of that. If there's anything, that was where people got sucked off. Was at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I never got sucked off in public like that at the Comedy Store. I did the first time I got my dick sucked at the Comedy Store. I wasn't even working there yet. I just did potluck.
Yeah.
Had a good set. This is when it wasn't a lot of people there either.
And you were about 60 pounds heavier. You've lost a
I've
bunch
lost
of weight.
but then I gained. I probably was like 10 pounds heavier than now. And like right now, I'm like 10 pounds heavier than when I'm at a good healthy weight.
Sure.
But yeah, I was heavier. But I had like a really good set. And
You
this
look
chick
like a
came up to
young
me.
John Lovitz.
That's not a compliment. I know that's not. That's definitely.
Sorry.
I get
couldn't help
Seth
it.
Rogen so much, and I'm like,
that's
not
all
a
right.
compliment. It's not.
Ah.
I'm like, it's not an. I'm not. I don't take it as a major insult, but it's definitely not like, oh, you remind me of Clooney. You know, It's
There's a
like-
bit of a smugness to you, but it's not like
Yeah,
like
I
Seth
guess.
Rogen smug. Like a kind of like I find this funnier to myself than you guys will ever understand.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I do.
not
I do
John
tell
Lovitz,
jokes.
though.
A lot of times I do tell jokes that are just for me.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't
well,
care.
would
if
you
the
like a
audience-
bump?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that.
one. Yeah, I would go up to people who I knew enjoyed cocaine, and I would whisper to them, "You want a bump?"
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
when they'd say, "Yeah,"
Yeah, the worst bit was
I'd
the
give 'em a
worst
fist
part.
bump. Yeah.
Very betrayed.
yeah.
It was like
I would
a
sell
sense
it.
of like, yeah.
And it's people who I had done coke with in the past, so they were like, "Oh,
I think the
maybe he's
fourth
doing
time I scolded you.
it."
I think the fourth time I
Fucked up,
scolded you. Hey,
Yeah.
come on.
The funniest is I would get people 2 days in a row. I would do it like the day before, and then the next day I'd do it again, and they'd be
Oh, yeah.
excited again. They'd
Yeah, this-
forget.
Yeah, you're probably indirectly responsible for at least a few suicides.
Oh, I hope not. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not
Yeah,
true.
we were all going through a rough time, and you're all, I don't have a problem.
They're like, if I had one bump, I would live. But
There's been a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
What was your last day working in Hollywood?
My last day working, as soon as I
Yeah.
got passed, I showcased, and as soon as I heard that I got passed, I went in the office and I put my 2 weeks in.
Okay.
And I don't remember when that was. It was like 6 months ago, maybe.
You decided I might want to have a relationship with a woman. I got to get out of this place.
I mean, I
Oh,
was
you were
just
with your
after
lady the
I was
whole
with my
time?
lady the
Yeah.
whole time, but I was like, I loved working there. Super fun to work. The best job I've ever had. Like,
Yeah.
best hourly job I've ever had by far. But I was ready to be done. 9 years is. I could have been a doctor if I was in med school for that.
I think the really ambitious people lasted 3 years there.
Yeah.
And then if you could get past the 3-year mark, the
Yeah.
Feng Chao's, there's only
Oh, I remember when Feng Chao got fired for beating up Renee.
no who's
Yeah.
Renee?
Renee, he's one of the door guys.
Oh, okay.
But I guess like I don't remember the exact incident, but it was like I think Renee was trying to get a drink from Feng Chao, and Feng Chao was like, "You never tip," so he was like ignoring him. And then so I think what I heard was Renee took like $20 and threw it at Feng Chao, and then Feng Chao came around the corner
Yeah.
and just grabbed Renee by the neck.
Yeah.
And it was all there was cameras
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
Did
so
you
they
guys
were-
watch the video about 9 times?
I don't know. I didn't get to see the
Hilarious.
video. Nobody.
Uh.
I think they were. Everybody was trying to keep it on the down low so Feng Chao wouldn't get fired.
Yeah.
But it was on camera, and one of the managers saw it and was like, legally, if something happens again, and we've seen this footage,
We're
and
responsible.
We're responsible.
Yeah.
So they fired Feng Chao.
Yeah.
That was a big hit. That was way more fun when Feng Chao was a bartender. Feng Chao bartending, just yelling at the waitresses.
Dude,
so
when he
fun.
was working the line on it, like you remember what it was like down there on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You'd have 500 people waiting to go in and 500 wait to come
Yeah.
out all every 2.5 hours
Yeah.
or something. The turnover in that room, and
Yeah.
some guy come down and gave Feng Chao his business card, and he was an agent.
Okay.
And he goes, I got 500 fucking people on this sidewalk. Do you think I give a fuck where you...
The best Feng Chao story was he used to call Mark Maron Marky Mark.
Oh, no way.
He'd be like, hey, Marky Mark. And then one day Mark Maron went up to him and said, hey, don't call me that. And this is like early when Feng Chao first got hired as a tour guy.
Trying
And
to make it.
He says, don't call me that. And then Feng Chao says to Mark Maron, he says, hey, relax. We're all just comics. And what are you going to say?
Yeah.
Even if you're fucking Chappelle,
Yeah.
whoever you are,
Yep.
when you hear we're all just comics,
Yeah.
don't get your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
What can you say? There's
Yeah.
no reply. You just got to walk away and be like, I lost that one.
That was a Jedi move.
Yeah.
We got to respect
Yeah.
that.
No, Feng Chao is a Jedi.
I brought him and Yoshi to open for me in Vancouver.
Hell yeah.
And, dude...
Murdered?
And Bronson. Bronson was the
Hell
cooler
yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
I was like, I went double down. Guess who hosted?
Who?
Feng Chao.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you get Feng Chao every 10 minutes, every 15
it
minutes.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then Yoshi, Bronson, and then me. So the time they got to Bronson, they were like, holy shit. And you know how Asian dominated Vancouver is.
Yeah.
So they were like, white people are looking like, aren't you going to say something?
The show just got better.
The show was so good. It was killer.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, they got steamrolled by Feng Chao.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care what you thought. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know your headliner, so don't get all pissy with us in the middle.
Yeah.
Because it's not him. This is the
Yeah.
most nihilistic lineup. And again, Bronson would come up and they're like this giant white guy. And they're like, even the Asian people were like, thank you.
That's where Asian hate started, not COVID. It was that gig.
with Yoshi.
Yeah.
No, it was so much fun. I wish we had shows were great, but doing that same lineup in front of even a larger audience in that city, because Vancouver is a very woke.
Yeah.
And
Except for when they take heroin naps.
oh yeah, have you
That's
been to
a-
Vancouver?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
A
You went over.
lot of fucking
Yeah.
heroin addiction.
Yeah. No, I started there oddly enough with Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Wow.
In '96.
Hell yeah.
He started comedy probably
Yeah, he was a kid, right?
following year. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like 15.
Yeah.
great.
I've seen like footage of him as a kid doing stand up in Vancouver.
Yeah, I was on those shows.
Yeah.
That was. There's a tape somewhere on a hard drive or something of those early performances, and yeah, it was. Vancouver was a good time. There was nothing there. It was really
Just weed.
just
Right?
weed.
Because BC Bud was always, even in the States when it was illegal, you knew BC Bud was good.
Did you smoke marijuana in Vancouver?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was legal when I went.
Yeah.
We could just go to a store and buy
Oh,
it.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Canada's full legal.
It's not as good as California weed now, though. Like when we went, it was less good than the weed we had in California.
The government has its hand now.
Yeah.
They've turned the industry into they use the same marketing they do for Lego. Like you saw how unnecessary the packaging is.
Yeah. And it just seemed like, it wasn't as skunky. It wasn't cured quite. I feel like
It's the smell of government tax.
Once it's all legal and you're just trying
Tax,
to, yeah. And I
It's
think
been raped.
being able to smell it
It's raped.
before opening the bag, like
Yeah.
you used to be able to like and this is not in California anymore either because now it's legal and taxed and everything's bagged up. But you used to be able to go to a weed shop in California. They'd give you jars, and you'd open them, and you'd smell them, and you'd
I
look at the
remember.
weed,
Yeah.
and you'd really know what you were getting. Now,
You're breaking the bud.
yeah,
People get right into it like a wine
I had a
cork.
weed shop. You would be like, let me get a quarter, and they would weigh out your weed for you, and they would remove the stems. They would take the bud off of the stems and throw the stems away so that you would get more weed for your money. That's all gone.
Were you in the era of LA Speedweed delivery?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, that was a golden era.
Yeah.
And then they threw in the edibles.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I would show my friends at home. I go, there's like $30 worth of, so many people got comics deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would just get free weed from Gino all the time.
Quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
love Gino. Shout out to Gino Speedweed. Great guy.
The best.
Yeah. And him and his brother actually run a really good YouTube show.
That's what he was saying.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like this. It's like his brother, and they have this like cartoon fish that says like crazy conspiracy theory, fucking wild shit. I think it's called Y or something like that. The Y Files, maybe.
Sure.
It's really good. It's huge on YouTube too. I remember when he told me about it, I was like, I've seen that show. It's great. And he was like, that's my brother. Yeah.
Yeah, he was explaining that to me last time he was here.
I think that's what he does now mostly. I think Speedweed he still has, and I think he has other people help run it, but I think he's really more into running his YouTube show.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he changed lanes like a lot of people. There's the amount of revenue. No one has a job anymore. Like there's nobody.
Nobody.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out Gino. It's still like ABX still comes through and hooks up with fire weed. ABX's weed is really good. Farmer and the Felon.
No, it was great.
Shout out
for
Justin and Bobby, dude.
I've seen garbage bags full of weed.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Tripoli, I don't think I would have met those guys too. So shout out Tripoli, dude.
Shout out
Tripoli.
Sam Tripoli.
Tripoli is one of my favorite people. And here's
Let's
when I
get the
first
man
came. Sam Tripoli, love you. I remember the first time I came to the store, I met Sam Tripoli. I was like, hey, we became friends like pretty quick. And then he was walking me around the store, showing me around. And I was like, is there somewhere where I can smoke weed? Like, I don't want to be disrespectful to the club. And he's like, wait till you see this. And he walks me to Sacred Ground. And back there's like Tony and like Matt Edgar and Pete C. Remember Pete? And Rick
Scott.
Ingram. And he's like, hey, this is my buddy Hormoz. Take good care of him. And then I just suddenly had a bunch of new friends, and we all smoked weed, and it was just everybody has all these dark stories of how they got picked on and they hated the Comedy Store and stuff. I literally had Sam walk me in, introduce me, and I had a group of friends instantly. It was such
it's who you know.
Yeah.
You know.
But if it wasn't for Sam, I don't know what my experience would have been like.
No, Sam was one of a few people that kept my career alive. Like I think I did more naughty shows.
Yeah.
And more recently Comedy Chaos.
Yeah.
And then whatever Jay could get away with putting me on. There was a show running on Melrose for a while that got to a point where they had to read a disclaimer before I went on stage. And I remember Rita at the Improv telling me, no fire, because I was headlining. I asked if I could bring in some stuff. And she said, no fire allowed in the club. I loved all these crazy warnings. But
have you ever seen Zach Amico?
Never.
You know who that is?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at Skankfest, he does this thing
we met
where
in Houston.
people come and staple money onto his body.
Yeah.
And if it's more money, you can do it in like more painful spots. And he just gets money stapled to his skin.
It's a carnival act.
Wild.
You get a lot of burlesque dancers. I'd see them they would do a full striptease and then go around and you could staple money onto their ass.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But even the ass, you're like, you could see how there's enough meat there that you're like, it wouldn't kill. But
you wouldn't
some of these places are on
just
bone.
Pump off a couple staples down your shoulder blade?
No.
No?
Hell no, dude.
You gotta come and party with me, man. Spiders. Oh, I'd love to bring, before you get married, I'll bring you out in Austin.
And we'll get some staples in you.
And I'll get some staples. We'll do this thing called the flying squirrel, where you staple your bag to the inside of your thighs.
That sounds great.
And then you open your legs,
and you just fly.
That looks like a skin bat.
Oh, that's so.
And I hold a flashlight under it, so it looks like the bat signal on the wall. Would you leave if somebody you walked into an underground nightclub in downtown Los Angeles, and somebody was on strapped to a sawhorse with a mud funnel in their ass, and there was 6 midgets stepping on the top of step ladders, pissing down on them,
right?
And then one guy goes, "Let's do it with gas. Would you stop it?"
Instead of piss, let's pour gasoline.
One guy
down the
comes
guy's
over
ass?
who's clearly under some drug. He has a drug problem.
Honestly, I probably would like take a quick peek and be like, "Whoa, all right, let's get the fuck out of here." If I'm being honest, like even the Zach Amico thing, like I saw that for 2 seconds. I walked into the show and saw what was happening. I go, "Whoa, this is fucking crazy," and then I left.
Have you not heard of? This is where I was kind of leaning to. Is do you know who the psycho cyborgs are?
No. No. Who are they?
Dude.
Who are the psycho cyborgs?
I don't know. It must have been. Look.
I remember when I was a kid, my cousin showing me fecal.com.
cyborgs.
And it was just people doing gross poop shit. Like people eating poop and shit. And
These guys are true artists, but it's fully body modification, blood transfusions, surgeries, and
they just turn into like weird looking monsters.
so there was 2 guys, right? These 2 guys. Like shit like this. They put swords through their chest.
Damn, no.
Yeah, it's not staples on the. This
That's
is fucking.
wild.
That's a fucking sword,
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
dude.
Yeah, no.
Oh, and they had a
that's not
girl
my
in their
steez.
group too, and they ran. Oh yeah, they ran hoses under her skin and ran her blood around her body into the other guy's body.
Wild.
Yeah,
Crazy.
wild. Like
Yeah, no.
deep parts of your flesh. So that's
Yeah, no,
what
that-
I've seen.
That's wild. That's crazy.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wouldn't let somebody smash all your toes with a hammer?
No. Oh, but you know what? I had a science teacher tell us about this prank that he did once. He said years ago, he was my chemistry teacher in high school, and he said years ago, he was showing us liquid nitrogen, and he was freezing stuff and taking a balloon and turning it into like almost nothing, and then it would re-inflate by itself when it got warm again. And then he said one time when he first was like starting, he put a bunch of hamburger meat in a glove, and then had one hand in a glove and the other one a hamburger glove. And then he said, and he was like freezing stuff, and he said, "You can even freeze your hand." And he put the hamburger meat in the liquid nitrogen, froze it, then took his frozen meat hand out and grabbed a hammer.
Oh yeah, that's
and
great.
Smashed it.
Wow.
Hamburger meat flies everywhere. People are throwing up and losing their mind because they think
Fuck.
this
That's
guy
cool,
lost
though.
his mind. And then he pulls his real hand out again.
Yeah.
It was a prank.
I'd love to have that guy open for me. That'd be a great way to start a
That
show.
would be. Man, I wish I remembered his name. It's weird how when you're a kid you remember all your teachers' names and shit, and then you become an adult and you go like you remember one guy who was like a great teacher.
I remember most of their names.
Really?
Mr. Stavinsky was our science teacher, and he would torture us. He would take a bucket of water, and he'd put a coin in it, and then put electrodes into the bucket of water, and he had a voltage he'd turn up and electrify the water, and if you could get the money out, you got to leave class early.
Really?
And everybody would go, "No!"
Nobody could do it.
If you fell asleep on your chair.
Right? You okay? You want some water?
If you fell asleep in your chair, he would put. I'm good. He would put wires up to the metal legs and the rivets would electrocute you. He took a.
That's crazy. How are you allowed to do that in Canada?
This is in the 80s.
If you got health care, they let you do anything, huh?
Oh, you can do anything. You got health care. Just don't buy a gun. Yeah, and he burned my tongue with this acid crystal Drano, and he goes, "Try it. It tastes like mint." And he had it in long tweezers, and it burned a hole into my tongue.
Crazy. What a lunatic.
Stravinsky, he was nuts.
What a lunatic.
He was
Stravinsky
nuts.
did. I hope he's in prison.
We used to spread rumors that he used to beat his wife all the time, and he got pissed.
He didn't do it all the time? Is that
No,
why?
just to keep me hard. I didn't want to hear it.
That's crazy.
You had your dating show at the Creek. Huge
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, it was-
First gig in the city.
Yeah, I did the mothership, like the friends and family part of the mothership, and then we ran over to the Creek and did the comedy dating show. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really the comics that we had. We had Sarah Weinshank as the girl we were trying to get. Kim Congdon was the host.
Yeah.
And we had such a fire lineup. Tony Castillas. Have you seen Casey Rocket?
Of course.
That guy's so fucking funny.
He's the Stephen Pearl of 2024.
Who's
you know
Stephen Pearl? No.
Robin Williams' friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's so funny. And yeah, we had Jamar, Shayna.
Yeah,
Ravine.
your old homies.
Yeah.
It was summer camp for
Yeah,
you. You show
yeah.
up, you're like, it's all new environment and some
with a
familiar
bunch
faces.
of old friends. Yeah,
That's what I saw you. I'm like, I want to get you over here while you're
yeah.
still fresh.
yeah,
And you've got and it sounds like a lot of the guys that have decided that they're not going to live here necessarily, but stay here maybe a month out of a year.
yeah. Maybe.
You know?
I mean, I don't know. Once I started looking into buying a house,
Yeah.
it might be Austin.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like
Especially
you can't buy
when-
a house in LA.
Yeah. And do you really want to raise your kid in Los Angeles?
I mean, if I could afford a house in Long
Yeah.
Beach,
Yeah.
or a house in Cerritos,
Sure.
You know, there's like neighborhoods that are really nice,
Yes.
and you could get,
Encino.
but you have to be rich.
yeah.
Like you have to have
$1 million.
$1 million. You have to have a couple $100,000 just to put down.
Yeah,
to
get a phone
get
call
this
return.
$1 million,
Yeah.
$2 million house. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I'm like, we could afford a house right now in Austin.
Yep.
So
That'd
thinking
be
about
crazy.
it, but I do love LA.
I
You know,
think
I'm like a California kid. I've lived in California
I know.
my whole life.
I know, and I remember that. I thought you were going to go back to where you were from in the U.S. and you were from
Orange
California.
County,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I like
And-
Orange County.
Yeah. I mean, my mom lives in Orange County now. My sister lives in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
My brother lives in Temecula, which is like Riverside County.
Hong
But-
Kong Showgirls. Do you ever go to that strip club?
No. Is that in Temecula?
It's in Orange County.
Orange County, yeah. I went to one strip club when I was 17 years old. I got my buddy's fake ID or his ID, and I pretended to be him, and I went to a strip club with my buddies. And that was really fun.
Yeah.
When you're 17, just fucking seeing that many tits and pussies, you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, dude, I just quadrupled my number.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, to see somebody that can breathe in front of you instead of looking at a roast beef sandwich and
Yeah.
going, maybe I'll just warm it up a bit.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, folks, thanks for watching, and
Thanks for having me, bro.
You'll where can people find out about your upcoming events?
On social media, I'm at Not Hormones. I wanted at Hormones, but there's a trans therapy doctor that beat me to it. So I took Not Hormones and HormozRashidi.com. And yeah, you can see the gigs I got coming up. We do a monthly show at the Comedy Store called Dirty at 10:30. Me and Saul Trujillo.
Nice.
And me and Kim do the comedy dating show. It's usually at the Comedy Store, but we just started taking it on the road. We did it in Vegas for Skankfest. We did it yesterday in Austin. I think we're thinking January or February, we're going to try and do New York City.
Ooh,
So that'll be fun.
that would be great.
And maybe Chicago after that. Just
Yeah.
Take it on the road. It's such an easy show to take on the road because you just need 6 comics, 8 comics, and a chick,
Yeah.
and you're done.
Once you find the girl,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the girl doesn't even matter. The comics because good comics will make the show. If they're bad, we got judges to make fun of them, and that side gets funnier. But when they're good, it's like it's just easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, check those out.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Texas. I'll be probably out in Hollywood sometime in February, early March or something like that. But
yeah.
we'll go down the Mel's
Hell yeah.
and have one of their delicious meals.
Oh, dude, the open-faced turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like you're almost cheating the holidays because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Well, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and some Northern Ontario, Thunder Bay, Toronto, April and May. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you. That was fun. I have to pee so bad.
Yeah, man, let it rip. Where's the bathroom? Watch the court. I just there on the left.
We would like to see most of the human race killed off because it is unworthy. It is unworthy of the gift of life.
I don't care what society thinks. They're nothing anyway. They're no better than me.
Until we hear the safe word, we will not stop.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to see a person's head amputated? Think of things so horrible that the human mind cannot imagine them. See all this and more when you see on stage, in person, that crazy mix-up.
I like being set apart from people. I like to be hated.
Safe word with Jason Rouse.